Hello, good people. Anyway, last time I was showing some books over by the river of books that I had purchased, and the phone ran out, the batteries ran out. So anyway, let's continue on with some of the books that we have here that we can share. Let's take a look. We have the first one is called Dad. That's a nice little book, a gift book. We'll look at that later. Then here, this is something else. I had showed this to you. Anasazi. This is analog science fiction, science fact. These are. When was this done? This was done in July of 1980. This is different pictures and stories of science fiction and some science facts from that time. Here's another I picked up. This is October of 1982. These are for people that are very interested in science fiction. Different stories. I got this also. Murder. Oh, excuse me. God forbid. Mystery by Moonlight. Mystery by Moonlight. These are by Scholastic Press. This seems to me like books that I had gotten as a child years back, so I figured, let me get this to add this to my collection. Oh, this is some interesting artwork here. Mystery by Moonlight. A Voice in the Night. Looks like it's interesting. Very nice reading material for a young reader by Mary C. Jane, Raymond Abel. Mystery by, nice artwork too. Who's that artwork by? Let's see. Illustrated by Raymond Abel, cover drawing by Ethel Gold. Ethel Gold. This was also an interesting, something that I thought would be nice to get. The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. If you're looking to be charmed right out of your own life for a few hours, sit down with this wise and winsome novel by Oprah.com. Let's see about this. A bona fide international hit, New York Times Book Review. Monsieur Perdue is a literary apothecary. From his floating bookstore in a barge on the Seine, he prescribes novels for the hardships of life. Using his intuitive feel for the exact book a reader needs, Perdue mends broken hearts and souls. The only person he can't seem to heal is himself. He's still haunted by heartbreak after his great love disappeared. She left him with only a letter that he has never opened. After Perdue is finally tempted to read the letter, he hauls anchor and departs on a mission to the south of France. Hoping to make peace with his loss and discover the end of the story, he dispenses his books and his wisdom along the way, showing that the literary world can take the human soul on a journey to heal itself. An international bestseller filled with warmth and adventure, The Little Paris Bookshop is a love letter to books meant for anyone who believes in the power of stories to shape people's lives. This is by Nina George, works as a journalist, writer, and storytelling teacher. The Little Paris Bookshop spent more than a year on the bestseller lists in Germany and was a bestseller in Italy, Poland, and the Netherlands. George lives in Berlin and in Brittany, France. So that's this book. Here's another book I bought then. Seemed too good a book to leave. Anatomy of Typeface, Alexander Lawson. This talks about all the different types of typeface that there are, the types of books that print and the type. It shows you samples of it, different examples. A lot of different types of type. So this has examples. Let's see what it says about it. To the human, all printing types look the same, but for typographers, graphic artists, and others of that lunatic fringe who believe that the letters we look at daily and take entirely for granted are of profound importance, the question of how letters are formed, what shape they assume, and how they have evolved remains one of passionate concern. That exploration of letter forms and their division and classification into families or generic groupings is the heart of this comprehensive study. Written by an expert who has examined letters all his life, this monumental analysis of letter forms considers a broad and representative range of international typefaces. Lawson explores the vast territory of types, their development, and uses their antecedents and offspring with precision, insight, and clarity, from Garamond to Bembo to the design and manufacture of sans serif letters and newspaper types. This is the first full-scale investigations of typefaces since D.B. Updike's classic Printing Types was published in 1922. Lawson, who taught typography at the Rochester Institute of Technology for 30 years, states that this book is, quote, not written for the printer convinced that there are already too many typefaces, but rather for that curious part of the population that believes the opposite, that the subtleties of refinement as applied to Roman and cursive letters must have yet to be fully investigated, and that the production of the perfect typeface remains a goal to be as much desired by present as by future type designers. Photographed by Richard Howard, cover designed by Lisa Clark. So these are all different types of examples of typefaces, and he goes into it. Should be very interesting. Now let's take a look at the book Dad. 1 minute. Yeah, let's see this. Dad. Pictures by Joanna Kidney. Your dad is there to add sparkle and surprise to your childhood. C.N.E. Morgan, born in 1973. Your dad is there to add sparkle and surprise to your childhood. Dad is always on your side, cheering for you. Dad is always on your side, cheering for you. It doesn't matter a bit whether you're the first or last. He's your top supporter. Margot Thompson. These are very nice sayings. One little word from Dad, one simple compliment. That is all it takes to completely uplift your heart and brighten your spirit. Stuart McFarlane, born 1953. So this is from the book, the gift book Dad. Very beautiful, uplifting illustrations and sayings. The greatest gift a parent can ever give to a child, my father gave to us, time and time again. Himself, Hannah Ali, from More Than a Hero. A million words unspoken tell the love we have for Dad. Stuart and Linda McFarlane. To a young child, the father is a giant from whose shoulders you can see forever. Barry Garfinkel. My father would pick me up and hold me high in the air. He dominated my life as long as he lived, and was the love of my life. Eleanor Roosevelt, 1884 to 1962. Thank you for the memories, the joys you crafted out of love, the small adventures you've devised for me, the companionship that we shared. Pam Brown, born in 1928, talking about her father. Dad is the tops. He's your best ball catcher, your best thrower up into the air, your best pretend king, and the best funny face maker. Richard Allen. Dad, a man who takes a second job to subsidize the toy industry. Stuart and Linda McFarlane. To see perfect joy, watch a little child running, arms outstretched to those of its returning dad. Pam Brown, 1928. Born 1928. He gives everything so unselfishly, his love, his time, and most importantly, his tender, caring support in everything I do. Linda McFarlane, born 1953. Parents are generally wonderful people who give all their hearts and energy to the little people they have called into the universe. John O'Donoghue from Eternal Echoes. Wonderful sayings and illustrations in this book. When the weather is cold and the day is dreary, to see a dad and his little child together, lost in love for one another, brings the sun back to the sky. Pam Brown, born 1928. Dads take building sandcastles very seriously. It has to be a masterpiece, big enough to live in, and it has to be the best one on the beach. Pascal Humbert. Up, she says. Up, she says, and up she comes, safe to his shoulder, wrapped in his arms, delighting in the loving nonsense he is saying. Down, she says, and slithers to the floor, to hold his hand fast and stomp along beside him. Oops, she says, falls flat and waits for rescue. Sing, she says, and dances to his tune. Pam Brown, born 1928. I remember the sound of his laughter. Ellen Lawrence, from Out of the Shadows, in a long hot soak. New dads carry shopping bags, push buggies, wipe bottoms, load washing machines, and festoon themselves with babies. They take their reward in smiles and kisses. Pam Brown, born 1928. The seaside is a place to sit on fathers, to take them paddling, to drag them off for ice cream, to bury bits of them in sand, to ask for a little carry to the car, and to demand they stop most urgently, as you have to find a loo. Pam Brown, born 1928. Dad's love, warmth on a winter's day, gentle when times are hard, funny when I feel down, firm when I'm being ghastly, everything I ever need. Linda McFarlane, born 1953. Dads take their children's hands and lead them into the wider world, showing them the things they loved, trees and moors and rivers, castles and museums, and the children return his gifts 1,000-fold, showing him the things that he had long forgotten. Pam Brown, born 1928. There is something ultimate in a father's love, something that cannot fail, something to be believed against the whole world. We almost attribute practical omnipotence to our father in the days of our childhood. Frederick William Faber, 1818-1863. The people to whom we owe the most never remind us of our debts. They send no bills and they demand no settlement. I am thinking of one of the greatest of my own debts, the one to my father, Edgar A. Guest, 1881-1959. From Moments with Father. Together they explore the toy shop window. Together they admire the digger shifting dirt. Together they rejoice in ducks and cats and cherry blossoms. Home, she says, and off they go together to toast and sponge cake and a cuddle in the big armchair. Pam Brown, born 1928. My father once turned up. I'd just taken a hat trick, and I turned. I saw him. He looked up at me and gently applauded. We didn't speak, but that gesture was enough. Henry Kelly, from Women at Home, December 1994. My father had the gift of making me believe, and of believing himself, that there is always a new adventure, something waiting to be discovered, if we can only find the time to look for it and the courage to jump. Cookie Gallman, from I Dreamed of Africa. He was protective, strong, and I could fall asleep knowing that I would wake up safe and sound. Tony Parsons, from Father's Day. All about him was safe. Naomi Mitchison, 1897 to 1999. A father's love for his daughter is as soft as a snowflake, yet as strong as steel. Stuart and Linda McFarlane. A father is a man whose days are illuminated by his children's smiles. Pam Brown, born 1928. A father is a man whose days are illuminated by his children's smiles. Pam Brown, born 1928. A wonderful book. You are my childhood. Peaceful days on the sands, paddling in the pools, happiness, sand castles, counting shells. My memories seem like a wonderful dream. They mean so much. Helen Thompson, born 1943. It's only when you grow up and step back from him, or leave him for your own career and your own home, It's only then that you can measure his greatness and fully appreciate it. Margaret Truman, welcome, new life. Margaret Truman was the daughter of Harry S. Truman, one of the presidents of the United States of America. How do you thank someone for love beyond words, for the sense that I trust you with my life and that you are one of the 2 or 3 people that I can truly trust, that cares, understands, and offers unconditionally to help me in my life? Dalton Exley. You're a part of whatever I do or achieve because you taught me and encouraged me and stood by me always. Charlotte Gray, born 1937. Daddy was my rock, my anchor, the root of my life, and Margaret from my story. Dear Dad, it is for your quirks and foibles that your children cherish you, not for your successes. Charlotte Gray, born 1937. To me, the important thing about my father are the good things, his energy, his enthusiasm, his sense of loyalty, his love of family. I don't see the world from the same perspective that he does. But even now, there are very few important situations that arise where I don't ask myself how he would handle a situation. Peg Palmer Weirs. Thanks, Dad, for embarrassing me by collecting me from the school dance, cheering so loudly when I graduated from college, insisting on checking out all my boyfriends. Now I understand, and I'm proud that you loved me that much. Linda McFarlane, born 1953. Children hold their dads forever in their hearts, not for their good looks or brilliance, but for a balding patch, a trick of speech, for mild eccentricities, small adventures, promises kept, for being their own dear special dad. Pamela Dugdale. All the shared hopes and fears, all the times of joys and sorrow entwine, like a vine binding parent and child together in a mutual love that lasts eternally. Stuart and Linda McFarlane. Through you, I learned how great life can be, how the simple things in life are really the most important, and how you treat other people is really all that matters. Lisa Scully O'Grady. You worship him as your defender, your hero, your big brave dad. Later you discover he's really a quieter, shorter, more ordinary man, and your lifelong friend, Margot Thompson. A dad's love is a child's most precious belonging. It is unconditional, total, and lasts forever and ever and ever. Stuart and Linda McFarlane. A happy childhood can't be cured. Mine'll hang around my neck like a rainbow. Author unknown. A good father leaves so many joyful, enduring memories in his child's mind, like a bank of emotional strength that can be drawn on through the testing years ahead. Margot Thompson. Dad, did I ever say thank you for putting up with all my nonsense, for loving me? for teaching me to ride my bike, for holding me, for all those bedtime stories, for being proud of me, for these and a million other things. Thanks, Dad. Stuart McFarlane, born 1953. And you there, and so, all safe, my shield from all harm, giving me certainty, that safe, still place to which I can always turn. Pam Brown, 1928. This tells you all about the book and about the author. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and this was a wonderful book, this book, Dad. And thank you for watching it, and we hope to see you again as always, and take care. Thanks.